If you're earning any VA disability, these are the top 5 ways that I would use that money to invest, and we're going to talk about it. The very first one is the VA loan. For anyone who's watching this channel, you know that I'm a huge fan and proponent of the VA loan, especially using it to do what I call the VA stack, which is essentially you either buy like a single family house, rent out other bedrooms and live for free, or you buy like a 2, 3, 4 unit house, you live in one, rent the rest, and still live for free. And then by eliminating your housing expense, you're getting to save a large chunk of your income to reinvest elsewhere. And disability pay actually helps you with this for 2 reasons. One, if you are a 10% disability holder or higher, the funding fee is waived, which means that you don't have to pay that extra little like 2.15% of the purchase price on top of the mortgage. And simultaneously, the VA is still backing your mortgage, so you don't have to pay private mortgage insurance, which means that not only are you going to be able to get into a house for 0 down and potentially 0 money out of pocket at all from closing costs, but you're also not going to have any kind of insurance or funding fee wrapped into the loan as an additional cost for guaranteeing the money you didn't put down, because when you put 20% down, that alleviates some of the risk for the bank. And if you put less than that, technically with any loan but the VA, you have to pay for private mortgage insurance, which is very expensive. And with the VA, you pay the funding fee. As a disability earner, those are all waived. And so you can get into this product for even less money than anybody else, which further makes this the best mortgage product in the world. Secondly, your disability income counts towards your qualifying income to buy that house. And it actually counts at a higher level than you received. Because let's say you're 100% permanent in total, you receive about $4,000 a month in disability income. Because that money is not taxed, they have to balance it back out to what it would count as pre-tax dollars. Meaning if you make $60K a year and that's taxed, it's $5,000 a month, it probably comes out to about $4,000 a month after taxes. Well, your disability pay is $4,000 a month, but there were no taxes. So they will actually count it as $5,000 a month, give or take. There's a formula lenders use called grossing up to factor back in what your pre-tax amount that you got paid would have to have been to equal your current dollar amount that you receive from the VA. And so it'll actually help you qualify for a mortgage at even a higher amount than what you're receiving in disability, which is a really cool benefit that not a lot of people are aware of. And again, I think the VA loan, especially house hacking and eliminating your living expenses, is the single best thing you can do for the trajectory of your financial future. And I love to see vets do that, and this just makes it easier. And number 2 is because that disability pay is tax exempt, it doesn't count as income in the same way, which keeps you in a lower tax bracket. So even if you're getting that $4,000 a month in disability income, it doesn't count towards your qualifying income as far as like what you're getting paid, because it's not taxed, doesn't go on your W-2, which means you can still qualify for individual retirement accounts. If you're a higher earner, like the backdoor Roth IRA, you can still qualify for some of these other investment strategies that a lot of times you get priced out of if you're earning too much money. So it's cool because you get the money and it's tax exempt, and you can then invest it elsewhere in things that you may not have qualified to invest in anymore if that money counted towards your income. So that's a little bit higher level strategy. I'm going to keep it kind of surface level, but it does afford you the opportunity to still invest in great things like 401ks and IRAs because you're in that lower tax bracket, even though you're getting the money. Similarly, like the HSA, the health services account, which is a great savings account anyway, can be triple taxed because you're using non-tax dollars to go into this tax-advantaged account, which is just really cool. Number 3 is that you can get access to some VOC rehab, some VR&E, or for business startups, you can use the Chapter 31 VR&E, which is just a way to be able to start a business, and you can get, I'm trying to make sure I get this right, you can kind of fund a startup business using some of these Chapter 31 benefits, and you can get access to things like equipment, licensing, business education, sometimes even capital support, just for being that disabled veteran. And then it can also be leveraged into investing related businesses like real estate investing, financial coaching, online content businesses. And if you guys have enough questions about that, I'll do a whole lot more research and do a separate video on that. So drop in the comments if you'd like me to deep dive the Chapter 31 VR&E benefits. But surface level, it affords you some grants and income to start a business and invest in yourself because you've got that disability rating. Another benefit is that you get access to the SDVOSB, which is the Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business Certification, which basically means that if you're a disabled veteran, you can certify your business as an SDVOSB, saying that you're certified, through the SBA, that you're a certified veteran-owned business that's got a disability. And this opens up some funding options from my understanding with the SBA, but it also affords you the opportunity to bid on government contracts that otherwise might not be available to you. You see that the contracting space in the government and all of that space holds about 10% of jobs and contracts for businesses that are SDVOSB because they want to give back to the disabled veteran community and afford them an opportunity. And so if you are a disabled vet and you get this label on your business as the, service disabled veteran owned small business, then you have the opportunity to bid on government contracts against a much smaller pool of the population to earn some of those to help your business even further grow. You also can get access to some of these like free or discounted incubators, something like Bunker Labs and some of these third-party organizations that really focus on helping disabled veteran-owned businesses get their footing in the ground because people have a soft spot for y'all. And so there's an advantage there if you want to start a business, grow a business, get into some of these grants and capital opportunities just because of your disability and you're a protected class in theory or in essence. Number 4 is educational benefits. Now, this isn't necessarily for you. I mean, it could be. You've got the Chapter 35 benefits that allow you to go to college. I think it comes out to about $50,000 towards going to school. And that's great, especially if you've already used your GI Bill or you transfer your GI Bill to your kids. But where it really comes in is that your kids, your dependents, can go through the Chapter 35 grant for education. And that's, again, like up to $50,000. So you don't have to set money aside for education so much as you can invest it in, maybe an IRA that'll be tax deferred growth for them, or an insurance policy that'll be tax deferred growth for them, or a index fund, or buy a house for them where the equity couldn't be used for school, but the cash flow and the living for free could set them up for success. So it opens up different investment opportunities because you're not having to set that money into an account to sit for college, because you know that this Chapter 35 grant will help cover their college, which allows you to use your funds elsewhere. So real quick, if I was just spitballing, here's what I would do if I was started to get disability income and I didn't have to live on it, right? The first is I would save. I would build up that emergency fund. I'd take the first few months and build up a $5, $10, $15, $20, $1,000 emergency fund. Like whatever your monthly expenses are, I'd have between 3 to 6 months of it set aside. I would just use the money for that so that you have that and you don't have to rely on credit cards. If something goes wrong in your life, you can just tap into the emergency fund. Then I would lean heavily into using the VA loan and house hacking because, again, that's my favorite financial strategy and it will really help set you up for success by eliminating a huge chunk of your expenses that you can then reinvest elsewhere and grow exponentially and cut your time to financial freedom drastically. Third, I would go index funds. If you're looking for a passive way to invest, there's a great book called The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, where it talks all about index funds. I'd check that out. Index funds are arguably the most passive way to invest. You just set it up and you just stick money in it every month. I have a couple different index funds. They're just a great little way to have extra capital growing over time. And this is a long-term play. You let it sit for long-term. You don't play with it whenever there's a depression and be like, oh no, let me pull it out. Like, you just let it ride. And that's just a good way to stick your money aside. So if you don't need all of it and you've got a savings account and you've got a house and whatever, like stick some of it in an index fund and just let it grow. That's a good move. I would also argue that a great move is spending it on travel and experiences. Like, get out and see the world. You spent time defending the world, defending the country, get out and see it. Traveling is one of the best things for like resetting your appreciation for where you live in your current situation. It's so great for personal growth. It's great for life. And, you can't take all this that you buy with you, but you can take your experiences and memories and they're great, so go live some experiences, go have some fun, go enjoy the sacrifices that you made and the fruits of their labor. And the fifth one here is I would say don't use your VA disability for survival. And what I mean by that is don't just use that as your money to live on and become stagnant and lose purpose and be like, well, I don't need to work anymore because I have disability. Like, that's just not going to end well. As men especially, but men and women, service members, we need a purpose. You need something to work towards. So if you get disability pay and it's enough to live on, that's great. I would encourage you to go get a job anyway and invest that money so that you can set yourself up for financial freedom in the future. Because if you just choose to live on the disability pay, you're capped at where you can grow. You're going to feel stagnant. It's going to be easy to slip into that like loss of purpose, loss of identity, kind of depression side of things. And we just don't want that, right? So don't settle and be stagnant and just mooch. I don't want to say mooch because you earned it, but like just milk the benefits and not do anything else with your life because you don't necessarily have to. Like, I would encourage you to go for broke. Like, use that money to help compound, still work, still get out there, still benefit the community, still do whatever, and set yourself up financially for the future and your kids and whoever, and use that money as a jumping point to set yourself up for success as opposed to just using it for survival. And then also you get all these state tax benefits, which is great. So you can milk that and use those dollars, like whether it's property tax or DMV fees or whatever, to just go and reinvest as well. The long short is this: if you're collecting disability pay, it's for a reason. And we thank you for your service. And we know that the joke is like, I love my disability paycheck until I have to get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, that's why I earned it. But at the end of the day, like, take it. Use it to make a difference in your life and others. Reinvest that money. You earned every dollar of that. Go forth and prosper. Make the best of it. If you got something out of this video, you might want to check out this video that talks about a bunch of different benefits of the VA disability that I just wasn't aware of, and some of them are pretty gnarly. So go check that out. Drop in the comments how you're using your disability to set yourself up for success and invest in your future. I love you guys. Have a great day.